Yo, what's up? So, like, I had a few people asking me what I use to solo the Matron, and figured I would just make like a detailed video explaining like what I use. If you want to skip through some of the video, you can, but I guess I'll go over like what I was using, why I used it, and like how it combos all together and stuff, and also show like the overall stats. This was before the new chapter 3 came out for Showdown. So now there's like a recasting system where you could like infuse your stats of like Souljades into your current Souljades that you're using and pretty much sharpen up your builds and stuff and make it like a lot stronger than what you could have before, as long with like the level cap. Um, so this was before I was like since 500, obviously, and stuff like that. But so first off, I got Desperation. When you deal 20% more damage when your health is lower than 50%, and this pretty much combos with Backfire. So you get another 20% attack boost, but every time you attack, you're going to take like some self damage. And pretty much what made me tanky, I was using Copper Ward, which gives you a shit ton of health, but like you don't get any armor. So before the recast came out, where you could actually like adjust the stats on your Soulshades, you just had to farm for them, pretty much hope that you got some good rolls and whatnot. But if you can see right here on Backfire, I pretty much had one that had a nice amount of HP. So with Copper Ward, you already get 60% extra health. This one had 11%. Um, I don't think I had any other ones that had health. Oh yeah, this one does. This one's got 12%. And all right, so here are the overall stats. Anyway, you could pause if you want to check these out and whatnot. Since the new update dropped, I haven't actually worked on my Matari and adjusted any of her Souljades. The only thing I did was level them up, so she's just 500, but I haven't tried to min-max her stats, basically, is what I'm trying to say. My bad. So, the first Souljade was Desperation. You're pretty much going to hit pretty hard when you're close to dying. Second Souljade is Netherstep. I'll explain why I was using this, but you can read it right here. Basically, you can dodge with a very low cost energy rate. Like, you can pretty much spam your dodges. And then Assassin's Lunge is what pairs with another step. So I've tried this without another step, and basically you can't really spam this as much. Probably after like 3 or 4, depending on your overall energy stat, you're gonna run out of energy, and then you're gonna basically not be able to spam this, and you'll just stop the attack, and you'll have to wait like a second or some shit. But when you have another step, you could pretty much spam this. I would probably say like 90% of the time. So I have the Assassin's Lunge Ice Wielding version, which drops off of the Matron on Night Scream. It's just a slightly better version. And this one does extra frostbite damage, which is why pretty much all of my Souljades, I infused them with Ice Wielding. Either I already had it on or I put it on with the materials, but the more Ice Wielding you have, the more damage it's going to help with the Souljade. And this one I got lucky and I actually got some dodge um, energy cost on this. So I was able to spam it a little bit easier. And then it also helps get my ult back. So in every boss fight, when you're running this Backfire build, you're gonna probably be at 50% HP or under it. And that's where this comes into play. Soul drawing. Like if you're playing by yourself, even if you're not playing by yourself, and if you're playing with like other people, maybe like you won't have a healer, or even if you do have a healer, this will still be pretty much like your self-sustaining ability because you deal an amount of damage and it heals you. So if you read the Souljade, if your health is above 45%, you're not going to heal. But if you get under that, you'll restore 12% of your damaged out health. It's basically life stealing. And because the fact that you're going to be using Backfire, you're going to be draining a lot of your HP. And every time you attack, this will give you a little bit of health back and it'll help keep you alive. But because Copper Ward has such a large amount of health, you're going to be pretty tanky. And even around under 50%, you're still going to probably be more tankier than what you would be if you had armor on. Well, yeah, you'll feel a difference. Like if you take this off and you just run it with normal armor and health, you'll probably feel a little squishy because I sure did. But like, I think this is a little bit better for this build anyway because you stay alive a lot longer. And this Assassin's Lunge output is pretty high in damage. Like it does a decent amount of chunks to their health. Um, so this one I did get from the Matron, but there's a normal version that is not ice voting. It's just Assassin's Lunge. So if you're under leveled, you could still get all of these Souljades, I believe. And this normal one drops off of like I think probably map 2 in chapter 1. It's like one of the earlier chapters, so you can get it pretty easy. But the ice voting one will drop off a Night Scream, I believe. I mean, you could probably get it from like anywhere randomly, maybe like the Enigma, but I'm not entirely sure. I just know I got mine from the matron on Night Scream mode. Um, this one, I guess I didn't really have too great of a role, but it's just like an extra 1% attack, which kind of helps you with your self healing a little bit from soul drawing. Um, all right, so this one I rolled a couple of these actually, and I just decided to use this one because of the major health boost, also because the rage recovery per second. So another way to self-heal myself as Matari using this Backfire build is this right here, her ultimate. So whenever you get her ultimate, you can pop Backstab, and it'll pretty much give you like a large amount of your health back. Wait, does it say it on this? No, it doesn't say it on this. But basically, the amount of damage that you do with this ultimate, it'll heal you pretty much up to full HP extremely fast. So if you're about to die, you could pop this as like a oh shit button or something, hit a boss, and then you'll be fine most likely. But you'll want to try to get this as fast as you can, which is why I put some rage recovery to help me build my ult fast. That way I could get this and then just have it just in case I need it if I'm about to die. But this one also, so her basic skill, you get an attack boost of 40% and it lasts 6 seconds once you pop it. So not always, but sometimes I'll try to combo this with my attacks. Like if I'm tryharding on a boss or something, what I'll do is I'll pop this, I'll have the attack boost for a couple seconds, and then I'll start spamming the assassin's lunge basically. And this will like it'll kind of eat away their ages over time. Like it's not gonna do like huge amounts of damage like the ultimate from Viper or Talmouch, like those type of characters. But it's basically like damage, basically like sustainable high damage, not like burst damage. Pretty much that's like the best way I could describe it. Also with Netherstep, you'll be dodging pretty much all the time, and it makes the bosses a little bit harder to hit you. So you should be okay in most fights as long as they're not like too crazy difficult, or if you're under leveled then this probably won't work because Backfire is going to pretty much like eat through your HP, and the more underleveled you are, the more damage you're obviously going to take and stuff. So I wouldn't recommend using the Backfire build on content that's like way above your level because you're probably just going to get smacked and then you're going to die and your team is going to probably get mad, might rage quit on you or something, or you might just like kind of be out of the fight for a long enough time for your team to get killed if you're playing with anyone. But this works pretty well with Matari around content around your level or under your level, pretty much. Like you could eat through bosses really fast with the Backfire build. It does quite a lot of damage, and if you're pretty good at keeping yourself alive, then you should be fine. But I don't know if this really would work on other characters. Like, mm, maybe if you swap some stuff around. Like, obviously, this only works for daggers. So, right now, the only character with the dagger is Matari. But if you take this off and, like, put something else on and also remove this, then you could probably add in something that works with, like, some of the other characters. Like, I did try to use this Backfire build, but, like, a different combo with Tarka, and I don't know. I didn't really know whether or not it felt fine or not. You could probably pull it off with other characters if you know what you're doing and like you have the right Souljades and stuff. But yeah, anyway, so this is what I was using basically this Backfire build on her. She is level 20, so basically she has all her buffs like maxed out, like her daggers already upgraded. She has like as much melee resist that she can have and HP and all the attack boosts that there is to get, which helps out like for damage and also self-healing with Soul Drawing Souljade. You don't really need to have her maxed out. More than likely you could do this without a maxed out Matari, like for sure. Um so with the Backfire build, because you're spamming Assassin's Lunge, you don't really do as much damage with Dreadful Well anymore. So I also don't really use this. Like if it's a boss fight, I'll just spam Assassin's Lunge. I might throw maybe one or two of these in, but I don't think this really does as much damage anymore because your build is focusing around that one Soul Jade and everything is complementing the damage of that. So you probably won't really need this. It's pretty good for ads though, like ad clearing. If there's like a bunch of them, you could hit them all, but then you could do the same thing with Assassin's Lunge, so that might still be better in that case anyway. Uh, there is Dancing Leaves though, which is supposed to be doing like high Astral Aegis damage, but I think maybe in the solo video, I only used this like one time. Probably was like once. If I was to compare this damage to Assassin's Lunge with the build, I don't actually know if this does more damage than Assassin's Lunge would be, as long as you have like all the Soul Jades with ice voting on it, then Assassin's Lunge, my bad, might still be outputting more damage than Dancing Leaves. So there is the diffuse attack that Matari has. And I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't ever use this shit because this is like fucking kind of hard to use for her. It's like really awkward. It feels like it's probably like the hardest one to use from all the characters because you gotta fucking dash up in the air and use that one flying dancing leaves attack, and then I think it happens when you attack like once, and it's only like one block, and then you gotta wait for it to like recharge or whatever. But I find it actually pretty useless. So I don't ever use this. So if anyone's wondering how good this is, my personal experience is I don't use it. So that probably says enough that I don't find it useful. Um, this nether step will probably be enough to keep you alive majority of the time because you'll be able to dodge more often. And yeah, as long as you're not getting hit, you'll be alive. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else to go over. Well, right. I should probably mention, it might be obvious to some people, but for some people it won't. This will still drain your energy. Like it just reduces the amount that it costs. But if you're spamming your dodges, you're gonna eventually run out and then you won't be able to use this until your energy is back up. So the combo that I would use, what I would recommend in a 1, 2, 3 order, the first thing I would pop is her base skill for the attack boost for 6 seconds. Dodge one time, you'll get the benefit of another step. And then for the third attack, it's going to be this. And then you'll just repeat that process over and over again, which is why you see me basically spamming Assassin's Lunge in every video that I play Matari in, because it's got good damage. It helps keep you alive with dodging. And also, it has like a small health sustain for yourself. Even if you have a healer, like it'll make their job a little bit easier. Them knowing that they don't always have to be healing you and stuff. Not to mention, because this is 20% damage when your health is lower than 50%. If you get healed above 50%, you don't get this bonus anymore. So the more you're getting healed by someone, you'll be losing DPS pretty much. You only want to get healed if you're about to die and like you know that you are. Other than that, it'll be a DPS loss to be above 50% health, which is why I try to not really have anyone heal me. Like I'll let them know that I'm using this build right before we go in there, and they'll know like not to prioritize healing me unless I have like 1 HP or something. Other than that, I think you should be fine. Like if soul drawing's not enough, you always have your healing items. And if that's not enough, then you might just need to level up a little bit. Or um so with chapter 3, there was a new update that included the recast system, but it also included other Souljades. So there's now new Souljades, as long as a new element, which is the thunder element. I haven't experimented with the thunder stuff for Matari, and I haven't collected all of the new Souljades yet. I don't really know if any of this stuff can be like made into a stronger build for her. I'll let you guys know like if I figure it out at some point once I get everything. And like just today there was another new update, so now 500 sense level is no longer the cap now. So it looks like I'll have to be like leveling a little bit more. And so if you don't want to use copper ward, you could replace this, and this could be like a flex spot now with the new Soul Jade. Let me see if I have it. Um, so like for survivability, instead of copper ward, if you still want to have armor, I would recommend this one right here. This one drops off of chapter 3's first mission. You could just run it on. I don't remember if it could drop off a normal mode or if it's only night scream mode. And I can't check right now because Showdown is closed, so it won't show me the information. But basically what you could do is you could stack armor stats on some of your Souljades if you want, and you could wear this, and every time you get attacked, it has a cooldown obviously, but you restore 9% of your maximum armor after you get attacked. So if you find that you're getting smacked around a lot, then this will also help you stay alive, especially in those missions where it's like tower defense and you have to basically survive around a bunch of mobs. A lot of enemies are going to be hitting you all the time. So this would be good on those. On a boss fight though, it won't help as much because bosses typically hit way harder, so they're gonna chunk you down real fast. Um, you could mix and match these Souljades if you want to experiment a little bit. Like you could still leave Netherstep, Assassin's Lunge, the normal version of it, or the ice wielding, like whatever you have access to. Um, Desperation, of course, and Backfire, and you could swap these two, Sojourn and Copper Ward. If it's a bunch of mobs, what I would recommend instead of soldiering, probably maybe this if it's like a tower defense mission. Because if you read this, you restore a full amount of armor whenever you kill something. It has a 20-second cooldown, but if you pair it with the silkworm, you're not only restoring armor when you get hit, but on every kill. So if there's a bunch of enemies, you could take out a lot with Assassin's Lunge or whatever the hell you're using. But in those hard missions, like for example, chapter 3, the second mission, it's basically a tower defense mission. And on Night Scream, if you're under leveled or around the same level as the mission, it can get kind of rough in there. Like I've wiped a few times when it first came out, and it helped a lot to actually put on something like Silkworm and Skyforce because there's so many enemies, and at some point you'll run out of healing stuff, or nobody will be playing healer maybe, and even if they are, they might die for some reason or something. So you'll want to kind of rely on yourself to heal up, and this is pretty useful in that one mission. Also, something like immovable if you're still going through the story and you're stuck on immovable for some reason, like for the newer players or anything. Uh, I I don't know if this can drop anywhere aside from chapter 3. It probably drops off the Enigma, but yeah, it's most likely random unless you get it from turning in the Showdown quest. Sometimes you'll get like random Souljades from that are legendary quality. So you can probably grab one of these, and if you do, then it'll be pretty helpful for any new player that's like new to the story mode and doing Showdown. Um, there's another Souljade that combos well with the Silkworm. Here it is, Guardian. So this is just going to prioritize giving you a large amount of armor. So the one I have, I recasted it to get another additional armor stat with 90. The second stat's not really too important. I couldn't roll anything better than that, so I just left it at that for now. But with the 250 armor and the silkworm restoring an amount of your maximum armor, you should be able to survive pretty well as well. So this is like an alternative option if you have these two Souljades. But if you don't want to use something like soul drawing or backfire, you could sacrifice a little bit of damage for more survivability if you're having trouble staying alive. Oh, also you would have to take this off as well because you don't have any armor when you're using this. So if you want like a more tankier version of this backfire build, I would remove soul drawing, backfire, copper ward, put on guardian, silkworm, silkworm cocoon, and skyforce. Those three will work pretty well together when you combo them all up. I suppose without backfire, this will also go down in value to your build because you're most likely not going to be taking damage as often from yourself without backfire. So you'll lose this attack bonus when you're lower than 50% HP. So if you're going to go with the tankier build, that'll help you survive better, you might want to just drop the Soul Jade entirely. And you could go for, I would say maybe Mortal Defiance. Like, if you feel like you get hit all the time or you're having trouble surviving, this will be like a one-time chance thing. So, like, when you're about to die, this will save you one time, but that's it. But it came in clutch a few times for me. I used to use this like all the time on every single character. And so I got like more confident fighting and also way better at staying alive. And I gathered up more soul jades to make like better builds to help me stay alive as well. So I didn't feel like I really needed this anymore. But this is pretty good. Oh, you could also put this on her as well instead of desperation. This go for her ultimate if you have it available. This will just like basically help you build up her ult faster. And having her ult, you not only do a little bit more damage with backstep, but you're also in stealth, so the mobs or bosses, they won't really focus you down as much as they would if you were visible to them. And you'll also be healing when you attack as well. At least hang on, now I'm like kind of doubting myself here. So this doesn't say that, oh wait, no, it does. Yeah, it says that it restores by attacking enemies. Yes, I was gonna say, I don't know if this heals you without the soul jade of soul drawing, but it does. I just had to like double check to make sure I'm not giving like false information here and shit. All right, well, that's pretty much the build. Desperation, Netherstep, Assassin's Lunge, the ice wielding variant, soul drawing, Backfire, Copper Ward. If you need, you can pause whenever I'm hovering over any of these soul jades so you can see the stats that I try to roll on them. You don't have to go for these stats. Like, mainly I went for large amount of HP because I was using this and I wanted to stay alive but also do some damage. So this is a risky build. But with the recast, you could probably roll better stuff on these as long as you have enough materials. There is a small chance that you can get a third additional stat when you're rolling with the recast system. So I'm pretty sure now you could probably get a stronger build than this one that I currently have. This was before the update, like I said, so I couldn't min-max anything really unless I farmed the same soul jades multiple times and just hoped that they had like some kind of god roll stat that I was looking for. Um, Aside from that, that's pretty much it. You could pretty much adjust this to your liking and change what you like. If you got like some questions, or if you get stuck in Showdown, basically, for example, just feel free to drop a comment. And you could also drop your profile ID of Naraka in the chat if you're stuck on a level and you need some help or something. And if I have some time, then I'll send you a friend request, add you in game, and then I'll try to like help you out whenever Showdown is open to like either farm up a soul jade or basically help you get past whatever mission you're stuck on. Because like all my characters are pretty much 500 now. I mean, it's not the cap anymore, but I could run all the night screams. Uh, they're not min max though, so like yeah, don't expect me to be able to help you get like a good placement in Doom Racing. I still gotta work on my characters to do that. But for normal missions, yeah, if you need some help, just like comment down below and I'll see what I can do. Um, for the other characters' builds, I don't really have anything special going for them yet. I'll still like mess around with the soul jades. But if you see a video and I'm playing one of those other characters and you like the build that I'm using, just feel free to comment and I'll probably drop a video about their video build as well. and explain like what I used on them or whatever. That's pretty much it. All right. See you guys later.